This is my video review of Harrison Terminal Lofts in Cincinnati, Ohio, a very discriminating loft community. I visited Harrison Lofts about 2 weeks ago with the thought of moving. Harrison Lofts basically is an old recording record storage facility that's being converted into loft space on Harrison Avenue, where it began in downtown Cincinnati. The units are very spacious, absolutely gorgeous. Poured concrete floors, exposed brick, energy efficient, with very modern fixtures throughout. I was very impressed, and basically I wanted to rent one of the units. However, just had a very interesting experience with the gentleman that was showing them, this little Asian guy that was there. I basically had been talking to him for about 3 days, prior to actually going and looking at the unit. And basically on the third day, went out and actually looked at him. Got out of my car and caught him on the phone, and he said he would be right down. So I got out, and there was a secured door. However, the door was open, so I just walked right in. So about 5 minutes later, this little Asian guy comes walking down and stuff, and just visibly shocked, looking like he's scared to death, like I'm gonna rob him or something. And so I was like, hey, hi, I'm so and so. I came here to look at the apartment. Wasn't quite sure what was going on with him. And so he was like, how did you get in here? I was like, well, the door was open. And he was like, well, it should be locked. So he went and checked the door and stuff, and then, closed it and locked. He was like, well, it's locked now. I'm just thinking to myself, do you think I broke in to look at an apartment, dude? I mean, what the fuck? So at any rate, he didn't bother to introduce himself, which was an immediate red flag for me. I was like, oh, okay, here we go, racist Asian guy. And so, basically I was like, well, hey, I wanted to look at, the two lofts that you had available, remember? Because he was obviously, kind of, shell shocked that I walked in the place. So, he took me, upstairs, and, I looked at one unit. He didn't offer, any any details of the amenities of the facility or anything about the apartment, nothing, and so basically I walked around, didn't really like that unit. And so, basically, he was getting ready to head back downstairs. I was like, well, don't you have one other unit available? So I had to prompt him to show me the second unit. So he showed me the other unit that he had available. And then, I walked around again, didn't, offer any details about amenities or anything. Walked around, checked out the unit, and I fell in love with it. Okay. And so I was like, hey, I'd like to put in an application. I'm looking at another place. But I'll probably be able to make a decision, within a couple of days once I go look at the other place. But I really like this place, so I think I might want to go ahead and put in an application anyway. And so he was like, I don't have any applications. And so I kind of looked at him, because, I was kind of, flabbergasted with that statement, since that, like I said, I've been talking to him for 3 days about coming and looking at the units. The unit was $1,400 a month, and his units move kind of slow, so I found it kind of strange that he's selling units for $1,400 a month and up, and he forgets to bring an application with somebody that's been talking to him for several days. But at any rate, I kind of was like, so you forgot the application? Can you email it to me? He was like, yeah, I can email it. Okay. And so, we walk out, and so, we head downstairs, head out of the building, get outside, and he's like, I'm not going to be able to email it because I don't have a scanner, so I can't scan it and email it to you. So I looked at him. I was like, oh, really? He was like, yeah. And then he could tell I was getting kind of pissed at that point. And so he was like, but I can fax it to you. So then I kind of thought for a second, how many people in these days and time have a fax machine in their house? But then I thought, you know what? Got a business card. you can fax it to my office. So I gave him my business card, So he looked at the card. Oh, so is this your card? I thought to myself, no, motherfucker, it's somebody else's card that I'm carrying around with me. And I was like, yeah, that's my card. So you can just see that number right there. You can fax the application to that, and the receptionist will be sure to give it to me as soon as you do it. Okay? Well, it's 2 weeks later. I still don't have, an application for the unit. For the unit. So, as I was saying, terminal, Harrison Terminal Loft apartments, they're absolutely gorgeous. Hey, take a look at them. But what you might want to do, since they're a very discriminating loft community, you probably want to give them a call first, like, if you're Arab, Pentecostal, Protestant, a dwarf, a feminist. I don't know. I don't know what this person's personal problems are, but you might want to just check in advance and let him know what group that you belong to, just to make sure that this discriminating community doesn't have a problem with you. Thanks.